Rain hammered the rusted streets like a warning siren from the sky itself. Midnight in the industrial district was always a bad idea, but tonight it felt cursed. Detective Ishan Dev of CID knew this place too well, every broken window, every crooked lamppost, every shadow that looked like it might pull a trigger. He moved with the precision of someone who trusted nothing, not even the pounding of his own heart. He spotted her against the warehouse wall, a hood pulled over her face, hands shoved into ripped pockets. The tip he received said she'd be here, Mara Vale, 19, suspected of trafficking weapons with the kind of people who made death look cheap. She wasn't supposed to look so calm. Criminals usually ran when they saw police. But she stared straight at him, like she had been waiting for this moment, like she already knew his name. The moment their eyes met, the storm changed. Something electric moved through the air, danger flirting with desire. CID, Ishan said, stepping forward, badge catching a sliver of moonlight. You're coming with me. You don't even have a warrant, she replied, voice sharp, fearless, too mature for her age but too young to be in this hell. That's not your concern. He caught her wrist before she could flinch away. Cold skin. Quick pulse. She could fight, and he could feel the coiled strength in her arm, but she didn't resist. That unsettled him. Innocent people protested. Guilty ones tried to run. Mara did neither. As he clicked the cuffs shut around her wrists, rainwater dripped from her hood onto his gloves, and for a second, his grip tightened. She was small, but not fragile. She met his gaze with something angry and complicated, like she hated him, but also needed him. Behind them, the shadows shifted. Ishan didn't look, but he knew someone was watching. The tense air, the clink of metal somewhere behind a dumpster, someone was there. Someone powerful enough to send his gut into a knot. Victor Vale. Mara's father was a ghost in the underworld, sometimes a rumor, sometimes a monster, and never a man you wanted to owe anything to. Ishan knew the man's reputation, the kind of criminal who hid his knives behind polite smiles, the kind who could own a cop without leaving fingerprints. Victor could have stepped out and stopped the arrest. He didn't. That meant one thing. He wanted her arrested. As Ishan guided Mara toward the squad car, he caught sight of Victor in a flash of lightning, just a silhouette, hands behind his back, expression unreadable. A king watching his pawn removed from the board. Ishan's jaw clenched. He hated being part of someone else's plan. Mara turned her head, noticing where he looked. Her lips parted, confusion flickering in her eyes, then betrayal. She knew her father was there. She understood he wasn't helping her. Not tonight. You think I did it, she said quietly as he opened the car door. You think I'm the monster. Ishan paused long enough to feel the truth scraping at his conscience. No, he murmured. I think you're in the middle of a crime much bigger than you know. She stared back at him, furious tears shimmering but refusing to fall. And Ishan realized, he hadn't arrested her. He had just entered a battlefield where love, loyalty, and law were all loaded weapons. The interrogation room was built to break people. Steel table, flickering light, walls painted the color of hopelessness. Ishan had thrown countless criminals into this box and watched them collapse under the weight of their secrets. But Mara Vale didn't collapse. She sat upright, cuffs removed, wrists resting calmly on the cold metal surface as if this was just another night in her unpredictable life. Ishan paced slowly, trying not to stare too long into those defiant eyes of hers. He questioned her about the weapons shipment, the warehouse drops, the encrypted messages traced to her phone. Every answer she gave was smooth, controlled, never slipping, never cracking. I don't know anything about guns, she said again, tone even. But you already know that, don't you? He leaned forward, palms pressing against the table. You were seen with people who bury bodies for money. You expect me to believe you just stumbled into their company? She smirked, and that irritated him. People follow me. I don't follow them. The words were laced with both arrogance and pain, as if being followed was a curse she'd never asked for. Ishan studied her, trying to separate the truth from the fire in her voice. She was either the most innocent girl trapped in the wrong world, or the most dangerous one pretending to be harmless. Every time she looked at him, it felt like she was peeling back layers he didn't know he had. The door slammed open. Victor Vale entered, expensive shoes, expensive silence. His presence alone made the air feel heavier. He didn't even glance at Mara. She straightened in her seat, shoulders tight, the same way a child braces for a blow, even if it's invisible. Detective Dev, Victor said with a businessman's smile that never touched his eyes, this arrest is illegal. No authorization, no warrant. But I'm not here to make trouble. Trouble? Ishan felt his throat tighten. Victor Vale was trouble. You know my daughter didn't do this. You know she's being framed. Victor slid a folder across the table. Inside were surveillance photos, documents, evidence pointing at someone else. Someone higher. Someone untouchable. Ishan kept his expression neutral. What do you want from me? To help you, Victor replied. And in return, you help her. His gaze flicked to Mara, but there was no softness there. Only possession. Ownership. Mara's jaw clenched. She didn't trust her father. Ishan could see it in the way she folded her hands, in the way she kept her eyes locked forward instead of looking at the man who raised her. Victor stepped closer to Ishan, voice dropping. Clear your name. Solve this. The real enemy is watching. Then he walked out, leaving the door to echo shut like a judgment. Silence rushed back in. Heavy. Electric. Ishan unclicked his pen, trying to reset his focus, but Mara's gaze pinned him like a knife. You're helping him, she whispered. No, he said quietly. I'm helping you. She leaned in, too close, too intense. If you're wrong about me, I break you. If you're right, I save you. Her breath brushed his lips when she spoke again. Decide which one I am. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Night wrapped the harbor in a suffocating darkness, the kind that swallowed sound and hope together. Waves crashed against rusted containers, and the scent of metal and salt stung the air. Far above the docks, police sirens screamed like starving wolves closing in, growing louder with every second. Ishan held his gun steady, though his heartbeat was anything but. Mara was beside him, breathing hard, adrenaline burning through her veins. They were no longer detainee and detective. They were two fugitives bound by a truth too late to escape. Her father lay on the soaked ground behind them, blood spreading like a dark halo beneath his body, shot by the very men he once commanded. Mara glanced back, eyes wide and shining with fury. They turned on him, she whispered, voice shaking. His own people. Ishan didn't answer. He already knew. Victor Vale had been protecting his daughter from inside a rotting empire, but corruption had a way of biting its own hands. And tonight, it had torn him apart. A sharp click echoed. Footsteps scattered through the maze of containers. Armed silhouettes fanned out across the dock, guns raised, orders shouted through radios. They weren't here to arrest. They were here to finish the job. Ishan grabbed Mara's wrist and pulled her into cover behind a stack of crates. We move on my signal, he whispered. She pulled back. My father. We can't save him, Ishan snapped, though the remorse in his voice betrayed him. If we die here, all of this was for nothing. Mara stared at him, tears finally winning the battle she fought so hard against. Rage and grief twisted together inside her, and for a moment Ishan saw the girl she might have been in another life, a life without blood on her hands. Gunfire erupted. Bullets ripped through crates inches from their heads. Ishan pushed Mara down, shielding her with his body. She clutched the front of his jacket, terrified but refusing to show it. "We run now," he said, breath warm against her ear. "And never look back." She looked into his eyes, eyes that had once judged her, then doubted her, and now chose her. "You took away my freedom," she whispered. "And then you gave it back." "I didn't expect any of this," he admitted. "Especially not you." The world narrowed to the space between their lips. Danger made desire sharp, urgent. She leaned in, trembling with the weight of the moment. "If I'm a criminal in your world," she breathed, "then make me your crime." That broke the last piece of restraint he had. His hand cupped her jaw, and he kissed her, a collision of fear and longing, a vow carved into violence. The kiss tasted like rain and gunpowder and the frightening possibility of love. When they pulled away, they were no longer questioning whose side they were on. They were on each other's. Police lights flashed around the corner. Voices shouted their names. Ishan grabbed Mara's hand, fingers locking tight, unbreakable. Together, they sprinted into the darkness, toward uncertainty, toward betrayal, toward a life hunted by the very law he once served. But they didn't let go. Crime had brought them together. Love would turn them into legends, or destroy them before dawn.